Rejection, a word that stings as though it were etched into our very skin. We know its shadow well, whether it comes in the silence after a confession of love, in the unanswered application, in the gaze that looks past us, or in the indifference of a world that does not applaud when we expected applause. Yet the Stoics remind us that rejection is not an enemy, but a teacher. And the exercises they left us are not abstract theories, but tools, sharp and real, forged in the furnace of hardship and human frailty. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This is the foundation of the dichotomy of control, the first exercise of the Stoic way. Each day we can divide the world into two realms, what is ours and what is not. The opinions of others, the outcomes of our efforts, the weather of fate, these do not belong to us. Our thoughts, our choices, our actions, these are fully ours. Imagine the relief that comes when you stop trying to carry the weight of the cosmos and instead hold only the reins of your own mind. Journaling, too, is a discipline the Stoics practiced daily. Marcus himself filled page after page with reminders to remain just, humble, and strong. In the morning, he prepared for the insults, the betrayals, the cold indifference he might face. In the evening, he reflected. Had he lived by virtue today, or had he faltered? Journaling is the dialogue between the self and the soul, the sharpening of inner sight. It prepares us not only to endure rejection, but to transform it into wisdom. Another exercise is to practice misfortune, premeditatio malorum. Imagine before the blow falls that it has already landed. Imagine the silence of being ignored, the sting of hearing no. Imagine failure, and then ask yourself, if this happens, will I still breathe? Will the sun still rise? Will my character remain mine to guard? When we meet the worst-case scenario in the theater of the mind, its shadow in real life diminishes. Fear is reduced, resilience grows, and rejection no longer appears as a cliff, but as a stone upon the path. And what of obstacles? Epictetus tells us, "It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. Train your perception. What you call bad can become the seed of the good." The Stoics would flip each difficulty upside down until it revealed its other face. Rejection as an opportunity for independence, betrayal as a lesson in detachment, hardship as the school of strength. Imagine the serenity of a man who, when denied what he hoped for, smiles and says, "Here is another chance to practice patience." Memento mori whispers that all is fleeting. Every victory, every possession, every rejection, all pass like shadows at dusk. What remains is the kind of person you became in the process. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Let rejection remind you that time is precious. Spend it in virtue, not in complaint. From the heights of the view from above, the Stoic steps back. Imagine rising above the city, above your house, above your worries, seeing them shrink until they are no larger than pebbles. What seemed unbearable is revealed as a small episode in the story of the universe. You are part of the whole, and every life is woven together. Why should the rejection of one person unmake the harmony of your soul? Then comes amor fati, the love of fate. To not only accept, but to embrace what happens. Rejection is not an intruder, it is part of the design. Each no is a redirect, each closed door a turning of the path. To love fate is to say, even this, especially this, belongs to me. And so the Stoics give us strategies for facing rejection with dignity. Do not beg for attention, for your worth is not in another's gaze. Be kind, but guard your inner fortress with emotional distance. Ignore those who ignore you, not from bitterness, but to reclaim your energy. Prove them wrong, not with anger, but with quiet growth. Go out, seek joy, live as if their disinterest had never been spoken. Rejection then becomes a sculptor, chiseling away illusions until only strength remains. There is power in silence too, not the silence of manipulation, but the silence of mastery. Cut off contact if you must, and in that space, rebuild your peace. Remember, what you do in response defines you, not what was done to you. If you are listening now, remember that you, too, can turn rejection into resilience. This philosophy is not a relic of marble statues and faded scrolls. It is alive, ready for you to practice today. Do not let the sting of someone's disinterest define your story. Rise above it, journal it, laugh at it, love it even. The obstacle is not the end, it is the beginning. And if this reflection has given you strength, take a moment to share it. Let others know that wisdom like this still breathes in the modern world. Subscribe, comment your thoughts, share this with a friend who needs to hear it, and click the bell so that you never miss another flame of Stoic wisdom, because life is short. Rejection will come, as surely as the sun sets, but armed with these exercises, you can walk through it unbroken, calm, and stronger than before. There are moments in life when silence cuts deeper than words, a message unread, a door closed, an opportunity denied. In those moments the heart trembles and the mind shouts, "Why me?" This is rejection, and every human being, no matter how powerful, how beautiful, or how wise, has felt its cold touch. Yet what separates those who crumble from those who rise is not luck, not talent, not fate, it is philosophy. And among the many schools of thought, none has faced rejection, loss, and pain with greater courage than the Stoics. For the Stoic, rejection is not the end of the story, it is the fire that tempers the soul. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the mightiest empire of his time, sat alone at night writing in his journal, reminding himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." His words echo across centuries. We are not destroyed by rejection itself, but by our interpretation of it. This is the first and most essential Stoic exercise, the dichotomy of control. To divide all things into two, what belongs to us and what does not. Think of it as a map for the soul. On one side lies the kingdom of your mind, your judgments, your choices, your values. On the other side lies everything else, the weather, the past, the opinions of others, the rise and fall of fortune. When you confuse the two, when you try to rule the world instead of ruling yourself, suffering is inevitable. Epictetus, born a slave, crippled by his master, found liberation in this distinction. He said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not. If you think things outside your control are truly yours, you will be hindered. But if you only think of what is truly your own, no one will ever compel you or restrain you." Consider rejection. A friend who drifts away, a lover who leaves, A company that refuses your work. Are these within your control? No. They belong to the realm of the external. But your response, whether you collapse in despair or whether you stand firm in dignity, that is fully yours. Rejection becomes powerless the moment you remember the boundaries of your control. Imagine this. A storm lashes against your home. You cannot command the wind to stop, but you can close the shutters, warm yourself by the fire, and wait with patience. Rejection is such a storm. You cannot make another person value you. You cannot force the world to open its doors. But you can guard your reason, shape your actions, and keep your soul intact. This is not indifference. It is strength. For to waste your life chasing control over the uncontrollable is to abandon your greatest treasure, yourself. And if this resonates with you, pause for a moment, reflect, breathe, and then gently support this work. Like, share, subscribe, and click the bell, not only for me, but so that the voice of ancient wisdom can continue to reach you whenever the storms of life return, because they will return. And when they do, you will already be stronger. When the world feels heavy and when rejection pierces like a thorn, the Stoics turn to one of their simplest yet most profound tools: writing. Not writing for others, not for glory, not for publication, but writing for the soul. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, wrote to himself every night. His words were never meant for us, yet centuries later we read them and feel his quiet struggle. He reminded himself to remain calm, to forgive, to remember that tomorrow he would face selfishness, ignorance, and insult. His meditations are not a book of answers. They are the record of a man who trained his mind daily. This is the practice of journaling. It may sound ordinary, even small, but within it lies the discipline that strengthens the mind against rejection and loss. Journaling is a mirror, a lantern, a map. Each morning it prepares you for what you might face. Each evening it reflects upon what has been. Imagine waking up and writing, "Today I may be ignored, rejected, or overlooked, but none of this has power to wound me unless I give it power. Today I will live according to virtue, no matter how others treat me." With those lines, the day begins not with fear, but with clarity. And in the evening, when silence falls and the room grows still, you take the pen again. You ask, did I remain patient when I was slighted? Did I remain calm when my efforts were dismissed? Did I honor myself even when others did not? If the answer is no, you do not despair. You simply note it so that tomorrow you may do better. If the answer is yes, you give thanks and rest knowing that rejection has not conquered you. Seneca advised, "Each evening when the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and review what I have done and said. I conceal nothing from myself. Why should I? When one has nothing to fear, one can examine oneself honestly." Journaling is not about perfection, it is about honesty. To look at your day and say, "Here I was strong, here I was weak. Here I stumbled, here I grew." In this practice, rejection loses its sting, for the written word transforms pain into perspective. Think of rejection as ink spilled upon a page. To the careless eye, it is only a stain. But to the reflective eye, it becomes the beginning of a new sentence. Writing it down transforms the chaos of emotion into the clarity of thought. You no longer say, "I was rejected. therefore I am worthless. You say, I was rejected, and yet I endured. I was rejected, and still I act according to reason. This is the secret. Journaling shifts the story. Without it, rejection repeats in your mind endlessly, like a wound that never closes. With it, rejection becomes a lesson, a teacher. There is something sacred in the act of writing by hand. The weight of the pen, the scratch of the page, the slowness of thought taking form. Each line is an act of resistance against the chaos of the world. Each entry a fortress against despair. So when rejection comes, and it will, do not rush to numb it. Do not drown it in distraction. Sit with it. Take the pen. Write the sting upon the page, and you will see it for what it is, a temporary judgment, not an eternal truth. And here lies another gift. Journaling does not only prepare you for rejection, it prepares you for gratitude, for as you reflect, you will also notice what remains. The friend who stayed, the moments of joy, the small victories of patience. Rejection blinds us to the good. Writing restores our sight. Remember, the Stoics did not seek to erase emotion, but to discipline it. Journaling is the training ground, each page a rehearsal for the soul, so that when life turns cold, you remain warm within. And if this practice calls to you, if you see its quiet power, then share this wisdom with another. Let them too find strength in the ancient discipline. Subscribe, comment your thoughts, click the bell, and carry this practice into your life. For tomorrow, rejection may come again, but tomorrow you will be ready. There is a fear that lives beneath every rejection, the fear of being alone, the fear of being unseen, the fear that we are not enough. But the Stoics, with their unflinching gaze, did not wait for fear to strike in the night. They met it in daylight, on their own terms. This is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. The practice may seem strange at first. Why imagine the very pain you hope to avoid? Why rehearse misfortune in your mind? The answer is simple: to lessen its sting when it arrives. For the human heart is wounded most by surprise. What we do not expect breaks us. What we have already rehearsed, we can endure. Seneca once advised, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." Think on that. To imagine rejection before it occurs is not to surrender to despair. It is to practice strength. Picture this. You sit in silence and imagine the letter arriving that says, "No." You hear the words, "We are moving forward without you." You see the friend who turns away, the lover who no longer calls. Let the image come clearly, let the pain rise, and then watch yourself endure it. See yourself breathing, steady and calm. Remind yourself, I am still here. My worth is not gone. The sun still rises, life continues. This is not pessimism, it is preparation. Just as a soldier drills before battle, so the Stoic trains before fate. Epictetus reminded his students, "When you kiss your child, say to yourself, tomorrow they may die." Harsh? To modern ears, perhaps, but the lesson is this: do not cling to what is fragile as though it were eternal. Rehearse its loss, so that gratitude fills the present and courage steadies the future. Rejection is only one form of loss, but when you practice misfortune, you see it as part of a larger pattern. Life gives, life takes. Fortune raises us, fortune casts us down. The one who has rehearsed this cannot be broken. Consider the great general who prepares for defeat before he marches to war. He imagines what he will do if his soldiers fall, if his city is lost. Because he has imagined it, he acts not with panic, but with clarity. So too with us. If we imagine rejection, when it arrives we do not collapse. We say, "Ah, I have met you before. I knew you were coming. And still I stand." Now imagine applying this daily. Before the meeting, you imagine the cold dismissal. Before confessing your heart, you imagine the refusal. Before showing your work, you imagine the silence. And in each vision, you see yourself, enduring, smiling even, for you know that your worth is not in their approval. When the real rejection comes, it feels smaller, lighter, like a shadow compared to the storm you had already faced in your mind. Seneca again reminds us, what is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster. To practice misfortune is to strip life of this weapon. Nothing catches you off guard. Nothing destroys you by surprise. There is another gift in this exercise. By imagining loss, you awaken gratitude. When you rehearse the absence of a friend, you treasure their presence more. When you imagine rejection, you savor acceptance more deeply. When you envision failure, success becomes sweeter. Thus, premeditatio malorum is not grim. It is life-affirming. Try it now. Close your eyes and picture the rejection you fear most. See it clearly, feel the sting, and then say to yourself, "I will endure this. It cannot touch what is truly mine, my mind, my character, my will." Do this often, and rejection will lose its fangs. And if this lesson has stirred something in you, if you feel the quiet power of anticipating life's storms, take a moment to keep this flame alive. Subscribe to this channel, share this wisdom, leave your thoughts below. Not for vanity, but because wisdom grows when it is shared. Remember, fortune is fickle. Rejection will come, but the one who has practiced misfortune is not broken by it. They are already prepared. And in that preparation lies freedom. Every human being has stood before what seemed an immovable wall. A door slammed shut, an opportunity denied, a heart turned away. We call these moments obstacles. Yet the Stoics teach us that the obstacle is not the enemy. It is the raw material for virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These words are not mere poetry. They are a declaration of power. The obstacle does not end your journey. It redirects it. What you call rejection is not a stop, but a turn. This is the Stoic discipline of perception, to train the mind so that when life says no, you do not collapse, but instead ask, "What new strength can I practice here? What hidden opportunity lies beneath this wound?" Consider the athlete who faces defeat. To one, the loss is humiliation. To another, it is fuel to grow stronger. Consider the artist whose work is ignored. To one, it is a reason to stop creating. To another, it is the freedom to explore new forms without expectation. Consider yourself. When rejection comes, you may see it as the end, or you may see it as the training ground of patience, humility, and resilience. Epictetus insisted, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." The rejection itself does not injure you. It is your interpretation that wounds. Change the lens, and you change the pain. Imagine rejection as a sculptor with a chisel. At first, it feels like it destroys, cutting away what you thought was whole. But with time, you see the truth. It was shaping you, refining you, revealing strength you did not know you had. This exercise requires practice. At first, the sting blinds you. The no feels final, but pause, breathe, and ask, what good can I find here? When the job refuses you, perhaps you are freed to seek one more aligned with your values. When the person turns away, perhaps space opens for someone who truly sees you. When your idea is dismissed, perhaps you are invited to sharpen it, to make it clearer, stronger. The Stoics were masters at this reversal. Where others saw disaster, they saw discipline. Where others saw ruin, they saw a chance to live with courage. Rejection to them was not poison but medicine, bitter at first but healing in the end. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold, misfortune tests brave men." Rejection is such a fire. Without it, your strength remains untested, your virtue unproven. With it, you are refined. Think of water meeting stone. The stone seems an obstacle. But water does not fight. It flows around, over, through. Slowly, patiently, it carves valleys and rivers. So too can you approach rejection, not as a fight to be won, but as a force to be transformed. And remember, rejection often saves us from roads we were never meant to walk. What feels like loss may, in time, be revealed as protection. Many years later, you will look back and see the obstacle not as a curse, but as the very thing that guided you to where you belong. So when rejection strikes, speak to yourself. This, too, is material for virtue. This, too, is part of the way. In that moment, rejection loses its venom. It becomes not the end of your story, but the beginning of a stronger chapter. Pause here. Reflect on a rejection you once faced that felt unbearable. Did it not, in time, open a new path? Did it not strengthen some hidden virtue? If so, then carry this truth forward. Rejection is never final unless you decide it is. And if this reflection has stirred your soul, if you feel the power of seeing obstacles as opportunities, let this be more than thought. Share it, subscribe, leave a comment with your own story of turning pain into growth. Because in speaking of your strength, you remind others of their own. The Stoics saw clearly, what stands in the way becomes the way. Rejection, then, is not the end, it is the invitation. All things pass. This is not a threat, but a truth as steady as the stars. Empires crumble, kings fall silent, mountains erode into dust. And if such mighty things fade, what then of rejection? A letter left unanswered, a door that closed, a voice that said no. These too will vanish in time, memento mori. Remember you must die. The Stoics held this reflection close, not as a morbid fascination, but as liberation. For when you hold mortality in your mind, the sting of rejection shrinks. What is the silence of another compared to the silence of eternity? What is the dismissal of one person compared to the brevity of life itself? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Consider how swiftly all things are swept away. Their substance is like a river. The activities of men are in constant change, and the causes of change are innumerable. Scarcely anything stands still, even for a moment. Think of that. The person who ignored you, who rejected you, who dismissed you, they too are fading. Their judgment, their opinion, their refusal, passing shadows on the wall. Why give them the power to define your worth when they themselves are but dust in the making?" Seneca urged, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. Rejection becomes small in this light. Why beg for attention when time is so short? Why waste hours nursing a wound when death already whispers that each hour is precious? To remember death is to remember urgency. Rejection may delay you, but do not let it paralyze you. Life is brief. Spend it creating, loving, acting in virtue. Spend it on what is yours to control, not on the shifting sands of others' opinions. Imagine yourself at the end of your days looking back. Will you care that one person did not see your worth? Or will you care whether you lived with integrity, whether you loved with courage, whether you left kindness behind? Memento mori does not make life darker. It makes life brighter. When you recall that you will not always be here, gratitude fills you. Even rejection becomes a gift, reminding you to treasure what truly matters. The Stoics lived with death at their side, and thus they lived fully. Epictetus told his students, "Keep death and exile before your eyes each day, along with everything." That seems terrible. By doing so, you'll never have a base thought, nor will you have excessive desire. What does this mean for us? That the practice of remembering death strips rejection of its power. If you are already prepared to lose everything, even life itself, how can the loss of approval undo you? So reflect. One day you will not wake. One day this body will lie still. One day your name will fade from memory. Knowing this, what will you do with the days you have? Will you waste them seeking validation from others, or will you spend them on the pursuit of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance? Rejection, when seen through the lens of memento mori, is a whisper saying, "Do not cling to the trivial. Do not beg for what does not belong to you. Life is too short." Perhaps the next time you face rejection, you can smile gently, whispering to yourself, "This too will pass, and so will I." Let me then live with dignity today, and if these reflections stir something within you, share them. Let others remember with you. Like this video, leave a comment of your own insight, subscribe so that you may return to these reminders, and ring the bell so that the voice of Stoicism follows you in your daily life. For rejection is fleeting. Death is certain, but the way you choose to live, that is eternal in its worth. Think of an ant upon the ground. From close, it sees only obstacles, twigs, stones, shadows. But from above, the forest unfolds, and the path becomes clear. So it is with us. Rejection seems like a wall when viewed from the ground, but from above, it is a bend in the road, nothing more. The Stoics invite us to take this view daily. When worry consumes you, when rejection feels unbearable, pause and lift your mind upward. See the earth below, the generations that came before, the countless that will come after. Your pain remains, but it is reframed. You are not the center of the universe, and in this humility lies peace. Seneca expressed it beautifully. We are members of one great body, planted by nature. We must be helpful to one another, and all work for the common good. From above, your rejection is not isolation, it is connection. For in knowing that all suffer, you know you are not alone. And here lies a paradox. By seeing yourself as small, you grow greater. By recognizing your insignificance, you become significant in a new way. No longer chained to the opinion of one, you are bound to the cosmos itself. No longer crushed by rejection, you stand upheld by the vastness of the whole. So when rejection wounds you, lift your gaze. Take the view from above, whisper to yourself, "This is but a small event, a passing moment, a shadow upon the earth. I am part of something larger. I remain unbroken." And if this practice speaks to you, if you feel the calm that comes from cosmic perspective, Let it echo. Share this reflection, subscribe to keep wisdom close, leave a comment with your own vision of the world from above, and click the bell so that reminders of vastness return to you again and again. For the truth is this: what seems immense at ground level shrinks from above. Rejection, then, is not the end of the world. It is only a ripple in the vast ocean of existence. To accept fate is strength, but to love it, that is greatness. This is amor fati, the Stoic art of loving one's destiny, not simply tolerating what happens, not merely enduring it, but embracing it as if you had chosen it yourself. Rejection is the perfect field to practice this love. For when someone says no, when the world closes a door, the ordinary mind protests, resists, grows bitter. But the Stoic whispers, yes, even this. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, a blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Imagine rejection as fuel cast into your fire. It does not extinguish you, it feeds you. How different life becomes when every obstacle, every refusal, every wound is welcomed as nourishment for the soul. Amor fati does not deny pain, it transforms it. When the job is lost, you say, this will teach me resilience. When love is denied, you say, this will guide me deeper into self-respect. When friends turn away, you say, this is a chance to stand alone and discover my true strength. Think of the blacksmith who takes raw, unshaped iron and hammers it, heats it, cools it again and again. The blows seem cruel, but they create the sword. Rejection is such a hammer. Without it, you would remain unformed. With it, you are tempered into something unbreakable. Nietzsche, centuries after the Stoics, echoed this truth. My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. It is radical acceptance, transformed into joy. And here is the secret. When you embrace rejection with amor fati, you disarm it completely. What can rejection do to the one who loves even rejection? It cannot wound you, for you have already said yes to it. It cannot diminish you, for you have transformed it into strength. Pause for a moment and imagine this. The next time someone dismisses you, you do not shrink. Instead, you breathe and whisper, thank you. This too belongs to me. This too is shaping me. Do you feel the shift? Suddenly, rejection is not your enemy, it is your ally. And if this vision stirs something in you, if you feel the fire of amor fati beginning to glow within, then let that flame spread. Take a moment to share this reflection, like this video if it has moved you. Subscribe so that more voices of ancient wisdom reach your ears, and click the bell so you do not miss the next reminder that life, even in its hardships, is worth embracing fully. Because amor fati is not only philosophy, it is a way of living. Each rejection, each pain, each obstacle, loved, welcomed, transformed. When you live this way, even rejection becomes beauty. For you do not say, why me? You say, yes, this is mine. This is the fire that makes me. Rejection hurts because it touches the deepest desire of the human heart, the longing to be seen, valued, chosen. When that longing is denied, anger rises, or sadness, or despair. The Stoics knew these storms well. They did not deny emotion, but they trained themselves not to be enslaved by it. Epictetus told his students, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And here lies the first strategy. When rejection comes, do not react emotionally. Do not beg. Do not lash out. Do not collapse. Instead, pause. Breathe. Remind yourself, my worth is not tied to their approval. Think of the ocean. When storms rage, the surface roars with waves, but deep below, the waters remain still. So must you cultivate stillness beneath the surface. Rejection may stir the waves, but your depths remain calm. The second strategy is detachment. Acknowledge the rejection, but do not let it anchor your thoughts. If someone chooses not to see your value, do not spend your life trying to convince them. Let them go. Focus instead on what lies before you. Each moment wasted on those who turn away is a moment stolen from those who might truly walk with you. Marcus Aurelius urged, when another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there is no need to be racked with anxiety, that they hold any particular opinion about you. This does not mean you ignore all feedback. Sometimes rejection carries truth, and humility is needed. But when rejection is blind, petty, or rooted in ignorance, you must let it slide off like rain from stone. Another powerful strategy, prove them wrong, quietly, patiently to yourself. Not through vengeance, not with the hunger to show them your worth, but through action. Each rejection can be transformed into energy, a reason to refine your skills, to deepen your character, to rise beyond the limits you once thought unbreakable. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Rejection dares you to quit. The Stoic dares to continue. And sometimes the strategy is simpler. Walk away. Protect your peace. Do not beg for attention, for true strength does not kneel. At the feet of indifference, you can be kind but emotionally distant, preserving your dignity. Let silence itself become your shield. For silence, used wisely, is not weakness but mastery. Remember, too, the gift of joy. After rejection, do not retreat into bitterness. Go out, live, laugh. Surround yourself with friends who lift you higher. Rejection wants to make you small. Joy makes you vast. This, too, is Stoic wisdom, not grim endurance alone, but the deliberate seeking of light after darkness. And so, my friend, if these strategies speak to you, pause for a moment, support this work, and let it reach others who struggle with rejection. Like this video if it has given you strength. Subscribe so that wisdom continues to guide your days. Click the bell so you never miss a new reflection. And share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story, your insight, may be the light someone else needs in their darkest hour. For in the end, rejection is only a word. Your worth is not diminished by it. Your path is not ended by it. With Stoic wisdom, rejection becomes not a chain, but a key that unlocks strength you never knew you had. Rejection can feel like exile, as though the world itself has turned its face away. But exile, too, can become a school for the soul. Seneca was exiled to Corsica, stripped of honor and influence. Yet there he found wisdom. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Even in isolation, he found abundance, not in what was taken from him, but in what remained within him. This is the Stoic way. To turn rejection into resilience, to build strength not despite it, but through it. One strategy is to deliberately Seek joy after rejection. Go out into the world, walk among trees, breathe the open air, immerse yourself in the music of life. Rejection wants you to shrink into a shell, to define yourself by absence. Joy reminds you that life still overflows with presence. Marcus Aurelius urged himself daily to notice the beauty of ordinary things, the crack in the bread, the foam on the boar's mouth, the sparkle of dew at dawn. If an emperor could find wonder in the small, so can you. Another strategy is to build your social fabric. Do not let rejection tempt you into isolation. Instead, seek community. Join with those who share your values, who lift you up rather than pull you down. Stoicism teaches sympathia, the interconnectedness of all things. Every human being is part of a larger body. When one hand is hurt, the other does not withdraw. It helps. So too must we, after rejection, reconnect to others who can remind us of our worth. Rejection is often personal, but the cure is universal. By contributing to others, by serving your community, by using your gifts for the good of many, you rebuild strength. When one voice says no, do not forget that countless others may yet say yes. The Stoics also taught us to act as if those who reject us do not exist, not in cruelty, but in peace. Why spend your energy seeking recognition from one who withholds it? Respect yourself enough to walk away. Maintain professionalism if interaction is required, but let their disinterest pass through you like wind through trees. Your peace is sacred, guard it, and yet do not harden into bitterness. Be kind, but keep distance. Respond to rejection with courtesy, but protect the inner fortress of your soul. Emotional distance is not weakness, it is dignity. For as Epictetus said, it is not he who reviles you or strikes you who insults you, but your opinion that these things are insulting. There is also wisdom in not revealing your struggle. Carry yourself with composure. Let the world see your calm, not your wounds. This is not pride, it is strength. For every step you take in silence, you show that self-worth is rooted in virtue, not in the approval of others. Think of rejection, then, as a kind of training. Each dismissal strengthens your endurance. Each no sharpens your patience. Each closed door teaches you independence. With time, you come to welcome rejection, not as an enemy, but as a sparring partner that builds your resilience. Pause here and consider, who would you be today if you had never faced rejection? Would you have grown? Would you have discovered your resilience? Would you have sought deeper wisdom? Likely not. Rejection is not the end of your story. It is the furnace in which your character is forged. And if these words have touched something in you, if you recognize the hidden gift of rejection, then let this wisdom not remain silent. Support it. Like this video if you feel stronger for having heard it. Subscribe so that Stoic lessons may continue to anchor your days. Click the bell so that each reflection arrives when you most need it. And share in the comments how rejection has shaped you, for your story may be the light that helps another endure. Remember, rejection does not end you. It begins you. It forces you to grow beyond what you thought possible, to build resilience, to seek joy, to connect deeply with humanity. In the end, rejection becomes not your jailer, but your teacher. Life is a series of doors, some open, some close. Each day offers us acceptance and rejection, joy and loss, beginnings and endings. To live is to stand in the rhythm of these tides, sometimes lifted, sometimes cast down. But the Stoics remind us that what matters is not the waves themselves, but how we sail upon them. We have walked together through their exercises, the dichotomy of control, reminding us to hold fast to what is ours and release what is not. Journaling, that quiet lantern of reflection, preparing us for the day and reviewing the night. Premeditatio malorum, imagining misfortune before it strikes, stripping fear of its surprise. The discipline of perception, turning obstacles into opportunities, seeing rejection not as poison but as medicine. Memento mori, remembering the fleeting nature of all things, finding peace in the brevity of life. The view from above, rising beyond the prison of the self to see all humanity as one. And finally, amor fati, the love of fate itself, welcoming even rejection as a sculptor shaping our soul. From these exercises grow strategies: calmness in the face of insult, detachment from unworthy opinions, joy in the midst of loss, silence that preserves dignity, kindness with distance, and resilience that transforms every no into the spark of a new yes. The Stoics were not untouched by rejection. Epictetus was born a slave. Seneca was cast into exile. Marcus Aurelius, emperor though he was, faced betrayal, criticism, and loss. Yet each of them proved that rejection is never the end. It is the training ground of strength. And so the final integration is this: live Stoicism daily, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet discipline of thought and action. Each morning, remind yourself what is in your control. Each evening, write what you learned. Anticipate misfortune, so that fortune cannot break you. Train your perception so that rejection becomes fuel. Remember death, so that each moment is lived in urgency. Step back, see the whole, and connect with others. And above all, love your fate. This is how rejection is conquered, not by denying it, not by burying it, but by transforming it. What once felt like a wound becomes a weapon of growth. What once felt like a wall becomes a doorway to a stronger self. Pause now, breathe, reflect. Think of the rejection that still lingers in your heart. Hold it in your hand like a stone. Feel its weight, and now, with the wisdom of the Stoics, turn it. See how it can become a tool. Ask yourself, what virtue can I practice here? What lesson can I learn? How can this make me greater? The answer will come. And when it does, rejection will no longer own you. You will own it. And if these reflections have strengthened you, if they have given you new eyes with which to see rejection, then let them continue to live beyond this moment. Support this work, like this video now, as a sign that wisdom still matters in our time. Subscribe so that you may walk daily with voices from the past that still guide the present. Click the bell so that each new reflection arrives when you most need it. Share this with a friend who struggles with rejection so that they too may rise above. And leave a comment with your own insight, for your voice may be the very encouragement another soul needs to hear. For in the end, the Stoics teach us that rejection is not defeat. It is a reminder that we control our choices, our character, our courage, that all else is fleeting but virtue endures, that what stands in the way becomes the way. So walk forward now. Do not fear rejection. Do not resist fate. Love it, embrace it, turn it into fire, and let your life be the proof that no rejection, no silence, no dismissal has the power to diminish the soul that chooses to remain steadfast, calm, and free. This is the Stoic way. This can be your way, and if you let it, it will make you unbreakable and So, my friend, we arrive at the end of this reflection. We have walked together through the wisdom of the Stoics, from the dichotomy of control to amor fati, from journaling to the view from above, from the sting of rejection to the strength that grows from it. These are not distant theories. They are living tools, meant for you, meant for this very moment. Rejection will come again, this much is certain. Someone will not answer, someone will look away, someone will dismiss what you offer. But with Stoic wisdom alive in your heart, you need not collapse. You will remember that what matters is not what happens, but how you respond. You will remember that life is fleeting, that you are part of something greater, that even rejection itself can be loved as fuel for your fire. If these reflections have strengthened you, then do not keep them only within. Take a moment now. Pause, breathe, and act. Gently press like so that this wisdom may travel further into the world. Subscribe so that you may return to this circle of reflection whenever the storms of life rise again. And click the bell so that each new reminder of Stoic strength finds you right when you need it most. But more than that, share your story. Leave a comment below. Tell us how you have faced rejection, how you have endured, how you have grown. Your words may be the spark that lifts another from despair. And share this with a friend, a loved one, anyone who struggles with silence or dismissal, so that they too may know rejection does not end us. It builds us. Remember, the obstacle becomes the way. The fire turns even pain into light. And the soul that embraces its fate cannot be broken. So walk on now, with calm, with courage, with love of fate, and let your very life be the answer to rejection, a life of strength, of virtue, of resilience. This is Stoicism alive within you. This is your invitation to rise above, and if you have not yet, subscribe now, join us on this journey, and let us walk the path of wisdom together.